I don't know where to put my coffee today. I got all my stuff moved around. Morning, Ashley. How are you? Still trying to get my stuff situated here. Morning, James. Yeah, I got some my green on. Of course, it looks. Man, I hate this lighting anymore. Turn my battery on. That helps. I don't know how much, but at least y'all can see. Any fan, how you doing? Well, I appreciate y'all being in here. Just been tying jigs the last day or so, not too many. My mom's sick, so we've been having to go out there and take her mail in and check on her, make sure she's all right. Can't get her to go to the dang doctor, but she's getting better now. So the she got all congested up, so she got sinus infection. Of course, all of her trees here are blooming. What are you doing, Ding Dong? You been out there digging?
Yes.
Your paws are dirty. Oh,
You're
you're cold too. Woo. All right, my morning mall. But yeah, mom's sick, so we've been having to go out there and take care of her, and so I ain't been doing too much of anything. And then the weather went to so I'm not going fishing in 50-mile-an-hour winds because that's what we had the other day. And yesterday it was we went out to yesterday morning to go fishing. It was nice. It was calm. It was pretty, and so we loaded the rods up in the truck and went off to the pond. And then on the way back, or on the way out there, we stopped at the farm to pick up some rock to take and put on the edge of the pond. And then we get there, and it's so windy that the wind swapped. It was blowing crazy. A few snowflakes was falling. So I was like, so we got in, and on the way back, Gregory was like, thinking that we could beat the cold front. So he's like, well, let's go to the lease. And I was like, well, by the time we get to the lease, it's just going to be blowing there too. So, you know, good thinking, or a good wishing or hoping or whatever, but no, that ain't going to happen. So I just been kind of like yesterday, I just filled my box back up. While I was at the lake the last time, guys like, what you using? I said, this is what I'm using. And he's like, ooh, can I have some? So I was just going to give him a couple, but then he started digging in his wallet and he said, I want that one, that one, that one. So I was like, okay, cool. We got 8 lovely people watching right now. Appreciate y'all. Normally I tie one on at a time, but this feather is like really long. So I'm going to just cut me a couple pieces. See, if I put that on there, see how long that would be? That's too long. So cut a couple pieces and stack them. This is a technique a lot of people use, but man, to me it's so time consuming trying to get that all them feathers to line up. I like my way. My way I can do it quick. Lock that on there. Maybe two more. I'm just gonna get a different feather. I don't like that feather. Feathers drive me nuts. Too fluffy. They're all like that. There you go. There's a better one. Now you saw how long it took to stack them two things. It was just I don't like that. I like to do this, line up the edge, pinch. See, get the same length almost. But that other one I had to cut almost a eighth of an inch off of it, quarter inch off of it to get the lay right. So, and also I've been like doing. I had a request to do a lighter jig, so like that. I mean that looks like a lot on camera, but you can see right through that. So I had a request to do a lighter jig, and I was like, okay. So then I did a whole set. It was Sunfish King that wanted the lighter jigs. And hey Charles, how you doing? Did I miss some chat here going on? Yeah, it's nasty outside this morning. There's like frost everywhere. We had a little bit of a freeze last night, and but yesterday we had some snowy junk come through, but it didn't amount to nothing. It just made everything dirty. See what? I used to sell mealworms, liverfish. Yeah, well, maybe, but I we did the same thing. When we lived out the farm, we used to cut wood, and in the wood you'd get beetles and stuff that lay larvae in the wood, and so you get larvae that were about like from there to sometimes they'd be like this. Well, also down in all the bark and sawdust and everything, all the chips after splitting all that wood, the mealworms would get in there, and you could go out there and you could turn it over, and there'd just be hundreds of mealworms. We used to take and fish with them all the time, but now I never did sell any of them, but you know probably wouldn't be a bad idea. So with I'm going to put some light blue flash in that, just a little piece. It The light blue with the white looks really good in my opinion. Right on. That's cool. Any fin caught a shiner on one of my jigs. We had some shiners out at Kingman Lake. Them things would get 12, 14 inches long, and they'd hit small jigs. That's pretty cool though. Now, did you catch it or did your boy catch it? Because I didn't. I haven't watched any videos the last couple of days of anybody's because of. Well, I take that back. I watched a couple yesterday morning, but I haven't really caught up with everybody because of my mom being sick. So I've been a little more worried about my mom. My dad being in a nursing home now. Mom ain't got nobody to take care of her when she's sick. So, and her sisters live down in Texas, and I mean we're basically alone up here, mom and me. So I mean got my wife and kids, but Naomi's gonna go out and take her some milk today and check on her. He caught two and you caught one. Right on. Yeah, this is a white head, white tail, that little blue flash, and the chenille is called cotton candy. So it makes a light little, pretty light jig. Camera focus on it. Come on. I think it's about all y'all gonna get. But yesterday I tied up a couple dozen of these. So gray tail, purple body, and a lavender head, and that's got some uh, flash in it too. And then I tied up a bunch of a new color that I had to develop because I couldn't find a color that could satisfy Avid. So now I made this color by mixing a few colors together, and now I have a medium red that kind of shiny, and calling it Bigfoot blood in honor of Avid. So, but this is that this is that red. It's kind of it's got a maroon color to it, and I know it does not show up with a dark. There you go. So it's not real dark, but it's not light neither. So come on, camera, focus back out. Come on. Are you gonna come back or not? Hey JBT, how you doing? I appreciate y'all coming in. Want to be outdoors? Yeah, I think that color like do good as like a little shad color, a little light shad color. Some of the lakes when the shad are born, they're just straight out white. I mean, they got a little bit of pinky blue on the back, so that's kind of what I thought of this color. So now on these nickel sickle hooks, I'm going to mention this. I think I've said this several times before, but sometimes if you don't cinch that down good enough, that thread, or glue it in or whatever, it'll spin on you, especially when you go to tie off your jigs. If you go to put tension on it, it might spin everything. So if it does, then that's a jig that goes in my box because it'll fall apart pretty quick if it does that. So, but to stop that, I like start back here a little bit, and then I do like 2 or 3 winds to get up to the collar, and then I just go down it, back up it, down it, and back up it. That's like 4 times, and it acts like them old Chinese finger lock things to where you put enough tension on there sideways, going like this, then it holds. A lot of guys just want to go down and back, and I've done that, and it just can't get it to hold sometimes. So going back and forth 4 times, it seems to work. Hey, I keep wanting to say CVA because everybody calls you CVA. I know that used to be your own thing, but hey, Fresno, how you doing, bud? Art, how you doing? Appreciate y'all coming in. I don't know if I want that. I got enough of my beard hair floating around. But yeah, tie him a jig out of his beard hair. Eh, it's that'd be kind of cool, but kind of weird at the same time. See, now that feather, like I was just talking about how that other one had such long that it would stick back too far. Now this feather will be just fine. So now you can do my normal tie and clip and get your length right. I like doing it this way better than stacking the feather and then putting it on there, like doing all your clips on your finger or whatever, clip your little pieces and then stacking it. You do that, and then you can get them to line up pretty good. I mean, sometimes even better in your hand. But when you're doing that, you're trying to hold all that in place and you're tightening it all down at once so you get a chance of maybe a feather pulling out. When you do it like this and you lock each feather in, um, they don't fall out. So, and you just need 3 or 4 wraps around it because each time you tie a feather in, it's going to get it. But this way you can judge where to clip your end to get all your feathers straight. But like I said, we're doing a light jig, so that's enough. Then you go back over it, and you're going to put a piece of chenille on, and you run through the thread this way, but it ensures that your jigs do not fall apart. So with that light on it, for me, it makes it harder to see that tinsel to tie that tinsel off. Make sure I ain't missing nothing in chat. The Beard Master. Hey, Tickaholic, how you doing? I didn't see you come in. I sent you an email, Tickaholic, and it was a question that I had for you. So I don't want to say it on here in front of everybody else. It's just it's a question that I wanted to ask you, kind of a business personal question. So maybe go check out my email, and if you already checked it out and responded, appreciate it. I haven't checked this morning, or since yesterday. Avid, you're driving and listening. Well, earlier I showed them the color that I had to make for you, being so picky. No. Now I showed them color because the colors that I had was either too bright or too dark or whatever. So I blended up that red for Avid, and in honor of Avid, we're calling it Bigfoot Blood. So, and I tied some of those jigs. Actually, I think I got some in my box that I tied up. I'll go grab real quick. But there's that jig I just tied. It's that white head, white tail, blue flash in the tail, and then a cotton candy collar, and they do look really good. So. And I hope, Tickaholic, I hope I send it to the right email. I got your email from a friend. So, Natural State Fishing. Good morning. Good morning. You must be on break. Either that or you're snowed in. You're usually at work. So, let me grab those jigs, my jig box real quick. Okay, this is my personal jig box, and I gave away a bunch of stuff, but I ended up take these bobbers out so they don't fall out. I'll throw a few of these styrofoam bobbers in my box with me, so when I'm down there at the water's edge, and when I lose a bobber, I use these when I'm fishing around a lot of trees. I know it's not a slip, but I'm usually only fishing 6 inches to a foot deep, so these work out really well. And there's no weight on that one. It's just a regular 1.5 inch or 2 inch. I think that's in 2 inch bobber. So no, that's an 1.5 inch. That's an 1.5 inch bobber. That's a 2 inch bobber. So, but these bobbers here, I like these because when you lose them, you're only out 30 cents if you buy 50 at a time. And that's what we do. But here is my box. And this color right here is that red. That's that red that I did for Avid. And when you tie it in a jig, boy, don't it look good. And then there's some of the white ones I did, and then some more of my pinks and stuff. So, but I'm getting my box ready for this next week. We're going to be pre-spawn here real quick. So you got to get stingy with them and make them want something. So you got to have a good mix in your box. Put that back in there. And then I got some bobber stops in here and stuff for when I'm throwing slips, because I do throw slips in nice open water where you're not going to get a bunch of snags. The slips are better because it pulls the jig up and you don't move your bobber very far. Okay. All right, Tickaholic. I appreciate you. And thank you. Yeah, it's break time for Natural State. All right. Well, but let's get back to the tying jigs. If I can get my finger on it. Okay. Now, these white ones are not, I'm not putting these in anything for anybody. These are for me. So I want to show you another little thing you can do. So like these are like my scrap little rubber pieces off of my big jigs that I'll have left. And so like this one is a silver and a white, and this one's got some black in it. So I'm going to take that silver and white, and we're going to use it to just tie a little jig. And it's going to be like a little baby hybrid. We're going to have feather and rubber on it. So get your thread locked in. And like I said, I go back and forth a few times, and I pull pretty hard on it. This is only 140, so if you pull hard enough, it's just going to go. I think that is pronounced Yozer. Yozer. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it, but happy St. Patty's Day. You're from Ireland. Well, you do that. You have a couple Guinnesses for me. I ain't had a Guinness in probably like 8 years. It's probably been about 8 years since I've had a Guinness. Yeah, the when you get down to this right here, that size of the tip, I usually set those aside and save those for like the smaller jig. So as you work down the feather, you get that way. But you can make out of one little thing like this. Okay, so this is like a half of what you get in a pack. And well, some places that's what you get in a pack, but that's half what you get in a pack. You take this and you take you about 200 jig heads, and you can tie that many jigs off of that if they're all like 132nd, like these. I So you can make. I mean, it doesn't take much in there. This is like $6 if you go buy that, and then if you buy 100 heads in a 32nd, you should be paying about. Some guys will sell them to you for about $10 for an unpainted. Um, and then you can paint it yourself. So you can literally get into jig tying for about $20. So, and that's like the bare minimum. One color, you know, not no paint for the head. If you want paint, you can get into it for about $25. So, then you got your basic set, about $30 if you want a tying set. But if you just buy a whip and a bobbin, you're like $5 to $7 a piece. So, so there again, for about $40, you're into actually doing from beginning to end, and you don't have to have a vise. You can, I in the in when I broke my vise before, but I needed a few jigs, I took a pair of needle nose vice grips and I clamped the jig into those, or the fly into those, the hook into those, and put them in my vise in my shop and tied jigs out in the shop. I had to do something to hold it, but that's when I bought this because I was tired of breaking vices. Because on them old, spring loaded ones where you got the handle, you bust these tips off a lot. So, but I do like tying jigs this way. Yeah, well, I'm not Irish, so I just, I we it's a here like matter of fact, I'm cooking corned beef for dinner today, and that's not Irish neither. But here in the middle of the country, we celebrate every holiday. We don't care. Gives us an excuse to cook. I don't know why I keep setting my scissors down today. Let's turn it over to hide that hook. Yeah, I we had our DNA done, and it was what I kind of expected all along, that we're Norse, basically Viking. So You just, yeah, when you go to text, or talk to text, the dang thing stops. And I've done that to myself where I'll get behind sometimes and I'll be like 5 minutes behind and be like, oh, wait a minute. I'll be like responding to these people. And they see, that's that big feather again. I'm gonna set, I'll show you again what a lot of people do is they take that feather. I don't know how well you can see this. They take that feather and then they'll clip here, 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 and then they'll take those V pieces and they'll stack them together. And to get all of that in your hand, especially when you got big fat fingers, try to get all that aligned at one time. And then that was just the two pieces. You got to find the other one that fell and then try to pick it up. Then you got to take that one and lay that one in there and get it stacked up. That's all, in my opinion, that's all pain in the butt. And see, it still didn't stack straight at the end. I don't know if you can see that or not, but and it's that one, that long one. So there, now I got it stacked right. It's still a pain in the butt. Then you got to go put it on. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. I like doing it my way. To me, it makes it faster. I can tie a jig a lot faster doing this when I'm not here on camera trying to think of what to say or talking to y'all or trying to read. Boy, I cut off a tiny piece or trying to read or do whatever. Then I can burn through jigs pretty quick. I can usually tie about uh, 24 in an hour to sometimes 30. If they're just a simple jig, no flash that you got to fold over and all that, and just feather, especially if they're marabou. If they're marabou, you can really burn through jigs quick with marabou. But like I said, these ones are from myself, so they're a little messed up. They're all right. Grab that. See, there you go. I don't know how to make that like show up better with this junky camera. I keep saying I need to get a better camera, but I actually need to get a better camera. But I'm scared because in like, what is this month? This is the third month. In 4 months, I got tags due, and that's going to be sketchy this year. I'll tell you what. Naomi not working. I don't mean to get in my personal life again, but with Naomi not working, man, it's been a pain in the butt. But we'll get back. I mean, we don't have much. We don't have many bills. We've cut back on a lot of stuff, like everybody has. You just have to in today's world. These are those stack feathers that I laid down. We'll see how well I picked them up. That was wasn't too bad. And even if you tied jigs for a living, like okay, say I sat here. This is I'm gonna get into this real quick. Say I sat here for 8 hours a day, which would kill me. I can only tie jigs for about 2 hours and I'm done. Then but what I do is I can tie jigs for about 4 hours in a whole day. I'll come here, I'll tie a dozen jigs. I'll go sit down, watch a show. I get up, I'll come back in here, I'll tie half a dozen jigs. I go do something, but right here where you're seeing is in my kitchen, dining room, or my dining room off the kitchen, my kitchen and my dining room and my living room's all open. Like the TV's right there, Naomi's sitting 3 feet from me. The kitchen's over there. Dog's finally laying down on the couch. Only had to get mauled once today. She's getting better. Every time she comes in, when I'm in my wheelchair, I've figured out if I'm loud, she wants to come and calm me. So she wants to come and lick me and nuzzle me and everything else. If I'm sitting in my chair and I'm coming in the house, she wants to come and greet me. So we've, got the whole stop and set and come here and you can see daddy. And when I'm sitting in my chair, she wants to come invade my space. So then I push her away. You should never let your dog come to your big chair that you sit in the living room unless you tell it to come here, because that's how a dog gets over dominant. But this will be my last white one with that cotton candy middle. Then we'll change colors so you guys can see something different. I only had like one of these in my box and I wanted like 4 or 5. And then I'm going to switch over and show you that color that I made for Avid, that dark red. All right, so here's that dark red that I made for Avid. Oh, maybe I still got it over here. I sent most of the ones I colored to Avid, and then I saved some for myself. So Avid did a little video. If you haven't seen Avid's channel, go check out Avid's channel. Everybody in here, if you're a mod, I keep forgetting to say it, but if you're a mod, go ahead, share out your link. TikTokaholic. All right, Tickaholic, you are now a mod. Natural state, make you a mod too. I know you usually only come in for lunch, but JBT, of course. All right, I think I got everybody now. So I know all of y'all well enough. I don't mind making y'all mods. Tickaholic, I've only known you for a short time, but I've seen your stuff. I trust you. Now, worst thing is if y'all do something, no cussing or nothing like that, and if y'all do put cussing in chat or, you'll lose your mod status to start off with, and then I'll kick you out. So I do not want cussing on my channel. I don't mind, the light stuff, what holds back water. if it applies to the situation. But one of the guys I like that their channel's Damn River Boys. So exemption. Just there's enough kids that watch, and I've had kids at the lake go, I've watched you, and here I'm clipping that feather because this feather's long and I'm tired of looking at it. I'm going to use it up. But it's a pain in the butt. Get them all lined up for me. See, like those are not lined up. See what I mean? I'm done with it. I don't like doing it that way. It's just not my way. Everybody should tie how they feel comfortable with. So if you want to loop in, here I am throwing my scissors down again. You want to loop in a feather one at a time, do it. You want to tie them all in at once, do it. You want to use marabou, do it. You want to use hair, do it. You want to use fox, do it. You want to use hackle, do it. You want to use baby marabou, do it. Whatever you like. It don't matter. Tie what you want to tie. Tie what works good for your area. Tie what you feel comfortable with. If you don't feel comfortable with hair jigs or tied jigs, use plastic jigs. As long as you're catching fish, don't nobody care. And if somebody tells you that one's better than another, well, that's their personal experience. Just say, oh, that's cool. Don't argue with them. It's not worth it. And yeah, I'm still using that blue because like I said, to me, blue goes with white. I don't care if it's got red in there or not for the head. But I'm just going to put 2 little pieces of flash on there to where it runs down one side and then the other. Go catch that down in there. That's a little long. There you go. That's a good idea. Okay. Oh, thank you, Want to Be Outdoors. I appreciate you posting everybody's stuff. Yeah, this, like, to me, lacing them in or, piecing them in or whatever, to me, it's a way easier way to tie. So if you don't like it, don't use it. Now, this is like a I don't know how to describe it, but you can definitely see the blue and the green in there, but it's kind of a rusty browny, I don't know, but it doesn't show up on camera because all you see is the tinsel in it. But in this head, there are little tiny flakes of blue. And I mean the tiniest flakes of blue in this head. So, and they are reflective because they were in one of the colors I used was the I believe it's called June bug or some, I don't know. It had red with blue flake in it. So, but it just was part of this color, and I'm not going to tell you all the mix because I'm going to keep it for myself. Y'all want to go play? I'll tell you right now, it's got 3 colors in it. And I left this piece is just so long playing with it. I don't normally leave pieces that long. But now you got it like this. Basically, it looks like a blood color. Like I said, it's got little flakes of blue. So I was calling it Bigfoot blood because of Avid. And I should not have used, why am I still using white thread, David? That's going in my box. I was going to tie these up for a friend, but I'm not leaving that white. You can see that white thread right there between the collar and the body. To me, I don't like that. So I should have changed my thread. Yeah, it's called Bigfoot blood because Avid is Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, whatever other name they call. I guess a Yeti. He won't be a Yeti until he turns gray all the way. All right, eyeballs work. Trying to get that thread up through there. All right. Now, back to what I was doing. I'll tie these up. And then I seen somebody tying the other day. I won't mention names, but he was on a breaker. Clip that bait keeper off. It drives me nuts when I see people leave that bait keeper on because then you get that bump at the back. I know it's your jig, you tie it how you want, but it drives me nuts. My scissors. I need to tighten the screw on them or sharpen them, I think. Oh, there is a nick on them. I have to sharpen my scissors later. Right there. There's a nick on that right there. Must have been when I dropped them or something. Yeah, if you didn't know, on these scissors, one side has got a small serrated edge. So what you do is you take the scissors apart. Okay, so like this side's serrated, this side is not. On the serrated side, you can sand it. You like get some 4,000 grit sandpaper and you can lay it flat and on a piece of metal and you can lightly sand that and that'll put an edge back on there. So that's on the serrated side, but you need to lay this flat. Don't try to sand here because you'll take the serrate off. On the flat side, you're going to sand this edge or sharpen this edge. So you would, as the scissors are apart, you would hold it like this and sharpen it like this. So you can do it on a stone, but if you're going to do it on a stone, do it on a machine stone that has this, it's basically the diamond ones where they don't wear down. If you use a natural stone, they're going to have a curve or something and you're not going to sharpen them right. But also, uh, sharpening scissors is not that difficult if you just go watch a tutorial on it. Sharpening knives isn't that hard neither. If all my knives in my kitchen, you can go in there and shave with them until till the boys start doing dishes. For some reason, sometimes when I get done doing dishes, the knives, you look at the end, the edge of them, and there's like dinks all the way down the knife. Ernie Brown, good morning. How you doing? I'm sorry, I'm paying attention elsewhere. I'm not looking at the screen too much, trying to piece in on my fallen feathers here that was from earlier. I was trying to show the difference in how some people tie versus the other, and the clips and the clipping in and the pinching them all together versus putting them in one at a time. I like putting them in one at a time myself, so that's why you guys see me do it a lot. And yes, I threw my scissors down again, but that time I was getting a cramp in my thumb. Okay. Now, I on my dark jigs, I almost always all clipped. Okay. Ernie Ernie says he's sore. Oh, okay, I see. Well, I hope you do better, Ernie. Yeah, I hope everybody's doing good out there too, or like Ernie says. But what I was saying is real quick, since Ernie said that, for anybody that's got ailments or anybody hurting or anybody whatever, pray for them. You got something going on, just remember, you're not alone. Kind of everybody's got something going on. So I encourage you to at least, tough it out. Sometimes life is hard. Do what you got to do. Sometimes we get curveballs. You don't have to know what everybody's yelling from. You can just pray that everybody does, God knows what everybody needs. So, but now back to jigs. This black, I go through so much black, it's not funny. This is like my third spool in the last 2 weeks. So I just ordered me a box and I just got a phone call from Ziners. So go check out Ziners, everybody. Um, that's ZEINERS, I think, .com. So that's where I get most of my jig stuff. They're a little mom and pop shop in Wichita. Nice little place. Guys are great. Help you out. If they don't have something in, they try to find it for you and order it in for you. So, I mean, the way everything is now with supplies, you just sometimes you got to wait. Yeah. Ernie, we've had enough mess around and find out in our lives. We should know better, right? We should know better about trying to unload the car all by ourselves. But I do the same. I'll do the same thing. I'll even me being in a chair. I'll get and start loading stuff on my lap where I can't hardly see to come in the house. That feather got too small. That one's turning out to where I don't like it. So, I'm going to tie that in there right there, just like that. When your feathers get a little wonky, sometimes things don't turn out like you want. You just have to adjust. It's got a little bit more flash. Ah, my light died. Battery died. I feel like the power just went out. that was the feeling I got. It was like, uh-oh. See, now y'all aren't going to be able to see as well as I can now. I see a lot better now because I have that light shining in my eye, but it got dark for you guys. I can see it. Ain't nothing I can do about it except for maybe I could plug it into my computer. Ah. I got something underneath my vise was starting to slide and walk around. Walking around on its own. Because I had the flash got up underneath it. See, that's a nice little jig. Okay, try something else. What else we got? Tie up some greens. Now, I'm going to do green head, green tail, black body. See, even wrapping back and forth, that only took like 1.5 inches of thread. So it's not like you're wasting a lot of thread, but you are wasting some thread. So, and these ones are going to be in what I have left of this marabou. Part out that marabou because you can get 2 out of that one, maybe 3. Okay. So there again, these are going to be a little lighter. That kind of actually not very light, is it? Well, this does stack up like that too. Okay, I fib. These are going to be heavier jigs. I'm going to make 2 of them the same. And these are just going to go in my box because I'm trying to get stuff tied. I got to go out and get some filming done. I only filmed twice in the last week and a half. That's longer than I like it. So if you get longer than you like it, just wrap back up. Because I did not like it that long for sure. Sometimes I want long tails, but this is becoming pre-spawn. So at pre-spawn, I want them shorter tails. They're going to get nippy. I want to just bite that tail. Now with the marabou, I tie it in a little bit more. It's probably about the same amount of thread because you're tying it all in at once with the marabou instead of having to tie in like that. So, and then with being that I'm going to use black, I'm going to use a woolly booger chenille, so real thin. Woolly booger chenilles work really good for 1/64 jigs, but I usually only make my body about a 1/4 inch long anyways. So, because I like the small bodies. And I get 3 wraps out of it and lock it in. See, like I said, when you make marabous, you can pump out some marabous. Ah. So when you make marabou jigs, you can pump out some of the marabous. Make me up a few of those. Marabous are real good for vertical jigging in brush, because they don't want to, with the marabou jig, as you're like making that marabou jig go up and down, it pretty much stays where you're at, because you're only going to move it like this much in that brush, or maybe even just like this, and you'll get that nice wave of the tail. With the straight hackle, it wants to dart a little bit. So but get this one tied up too. Yeah, I've decided to keep doing the live, guys. It looks like this morning we're kind of a slow day. I need to get some of them 1/16 jig heads. Yeah, these are on a size. These are on a size 4 hook. So I also have some that are on a size 6 hook, and those are the 2 sizes that I do in my 30 seconds. The 6 hook's a little smaller, of course, but if you want to be outdoors, if you want some jig heads, I'll sell you some jig heads. I sell these for $12.50 is what I've come up with for 100 count. So I didn't like how that wrapped. If you don't like how it wraps, undo it before you tie it down. You can always fix it. Don't just accept it. Make it the way you want it to be, and if it ain't the way you want it to be, fix it. Everybody just accepts too much these days. So there's another nice little marabou. I actually think I'm going to do a couple more of those. The black and green's always a good color. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do a couple more marabou, but I'll show you the difference. This is not the Bigfoot blood. This is just a regular disco red, and you can see that's way brighter. It may not look brighter on camera, but right here it looks way brighter. So, but what's everybody got going on this week? Are there any tournaments going on this weekend? Yeah, that's a sickle hook. I use sickle hooks. If you want the the old timey gold hooks, want to be outdoors, if you want those, it's no problem. I got those too. So, and if I don't, I'll go get them. I don't know if I have. I think I have 4s, but I don't think I have 6s. I may have 6s and not 4s. It might be one. I haven't poured any gold hooks for a long time, but I like the sickles, even in the trees. A lot of people don't like them in the trees because they don't come out once you get them hooked up. But if you're jigging in the brush and you got a good tip on your rod, you could reel down to it and push it out. So it doesn't seem to be so bad. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is I like the sickle hooks way better. That's pretty much what I've gone to, and I use victory hooks, or that's what these are, or I'll use the eagle claw little nasties. I like them too. And I was like, well, I'll go with the Victory because they're a little higher price. They're supposed to be, a higher quality, but I'm telling you, out of the 1,000 count of Eagle Claws versus 1,000 count of the Victory hooks, there you get more mess ups out of the Victory hooks. Now, the bends are more correct in the Victory hooks as far as the 90s for the head part. That's better in the Victory hooks. But when it comes down to it, you're getting about the same amount of mess ups, whether it's, open gap or no gap or the hook's all janked up or whatever. I'm getting probably about 10 to 12 out of each box out of 1,000 count, which is, acceptable mess up. So it's just they're all being spit out by a machine. Machines doing all this bending for them and probably doing 1,000 hooks a second or some silly stuff like that. So, but yeah, I would definitely, you know, I would definitely use the sickle hooks because that's what I use. I just like them better. The hook point sets up higher than the eye of the hook, so it seems to top lip the hook. You get more hook up per ratio than the old gold, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion, and sometimes my opinion just don't count. Now this is a red that this is just a disco redhead, common paint you can go buy, and then the sour truce marabou and the black. Now this black has like greenish gold, kind of a sour truce-ish flash, but then also it's got a little bit of a green flash in it. In that, but it is a woolly booger chenille, so it is a very small chenille, and I like it because it makes these jigs really nice. Now, a lot of people they'll tie on a really long body, but I don't like the long bodies. I prefer mine like this. The body's about twice as long as the head, and then the tail. But that back of that hook is clear back here. So when that fish comes up and tail tips it, chances of it getting that hook is pretty good. That's why I do it that way. So I don't know if you can, yeah, there you can see how far back that hook is. That's how I like it. Now, what I'm saying is, I'll tie one the way I used to tie back, not even that long ago, 5 years or so, maybe even shorter. It just, as you tie, different styles come out, things look better to people. It's a personal preference. And like I said, a lot of jigs are tied for people. They're not even tied for, you know, the fish. Now the fish bite on certain colors really well, but during the spawn, a crappie you put a cigarette butt down there and jig it, and the crappie's going to hit it. I know that sounds funny, but they will. We've been catching big old monster slabby crappie off of full night crawlers. So I'm talking like a full 6-inch worm, drop shotting it and bouncing it back. We were catching giant crappie. Well, as far as I'm concerned, they're giant crappie. They're 2 pounders. So, and off of bank during January, I mean, it was nuts. So hey Freddie, thanks for stopping in. Yak. I just seen you guys. Sorry. Yeah, less misses on the circle hook for sure. I think a lot of it has to do with how high the point sets with the sickle hook and the angle of it. And there's times where, as I'm tying, they'll get bent, so I have to push them back up and get that, because you want that point hook higher than the eye. And even if that fish sucks that jig all the way in, um, and tries to open and spit it out, that line's going to run across the top of their lip as it's coming down the jig head. Most people don't think of that, but you have a line tied to this. So if that fish sucks it in further than the jig head, that line is on its top lip. So sometimes they'll try to spit it back out, but as soon as you see that dink of your bobber, just lift. Worst case scenario is you just lift it about to where it moves your bobber about 4 to 6 inches. And if you miss the fish, you might entice him to get a reaction bite as you're pulling that out of his way. But if he doesn't spit it out, you're going to pull that line and you're going to catch that top lip with that sickle hook almost every time. But with a gold hook, sometimes you just don't get them because that it doesn't catch that way. I mean, it's the whole design of the sickle hook, in my opinion, has changed the game in a lot of crappie fishing, because back in the day, we used to miss probably 2 out of every 3 strikes we would miss. So you're only getting 1 out of every 3 strikes of a fish. Well, these days, you know, it's a 50-50 shot. But if you get them dialed in to where they're only just doing that to your bobber and you're lifting and you're hooking a fish every time, or if they're coming up and they're hitting your bobber and you're missing them, give them just after they do that, sometimes they hold that in their mouth for just a split second. So, but if you do that and you watch and they do this, that's them like taking the tail and then finish sucking it in. And then if they're double tapping it, I wait until that second. But if they're only tapping it once and then they're leaving it alone, and then from when I start seeing that, if as soon as I see that tap like that, I lift. And like I said, I just lift enough to pull that because they're paper mouth. So you're going to get them hooked pretty easy. And when you do that, you seem to have more of a hookup. That's why that day we were out at Kingman Lake, they were just tapping it. And there's this guy down there. Well, there were several guys down there. And they were missing almost every fish because they were letting it set too long, or they were waiting for it to pull it under. I seen the one guy that was fishing there. I seen his bobber got hit 6 times and he never jerked. He's like, well, they're not taking it under. I was like, well, as soon as you see it tap, just lift. And as soon as he started doing that, he filled his bucket in about an hour and left. So, I don't want to get in people's way or tell them how to fish, but if it works for you, it may work for them. I'm not going to just sit there and be quiet and watch a guy struggling fishing and cursing and everything else. I'm going to say something. Yeah, see, that's what a lot of people do is they're waiting for that crappie to take that thing clear under. Well, if you're just running a jig, they may not. They may go up and taste it and go, "Oh, I don't like that." Spit it out. But that's why a lot of people run them little crappie pellets, and I do too. I've been running them this year. I don't normally run them. I haven't in the past except for a few times, but now I'm doing the same thing. I couldn't tie my rig. I forgot how. James is going to help me. Oh, that's okay. If I would have thought about it, Jody, I'd have went ahead and tied them up to where at least they had 2 foot of line on there for you, so you could have rigged them off to your other setup. Um, I know one guy that when he runs the stingers, um, he just does a regular double, runs through the eye, then comes back and runs through the eye, then twists up, and then takes that tag in and goes through both the 2 loops that he just made by the eye and then back. It's just a simple double clinch knot or fisherman's knot or whatever it is. That's all he uses. Or he'll tie a big old Palomar on there. If you tie a Palomar on there, but then, the other aspect gets how you tie that other end to your other setup. Well, he just ties it to the eye of his other hook in the same knot. So, but the other, his big hook that he's running his bait on, he just ties to the eye of that, and then the line's just going to run down beside your bait. So that's kind of what he did. But yeah, I mean, James can help you tie up whatever you need. Your line is too thick. I couldn't run it through the hole. Oh. Well, okay. If that's your problem, then yeah. But on that stinger hook, I usually only run 35 to 50 pound line if you're going to be running a heavy setup. Around here in Kansas, I would never run a stinger hook probably more than 30 pound line. I mean, all my reels only have 30. Well, even my big 7,000 Abu Garcia's only got what, 25 to 26 pound drag. So, in my opinion, I don't see no need to run more than 35 pound line. So, but I'm the chances of me catching a fish over, I ain't caught a fish over, probably biggest fish I've caught in the last 10 years has been 25 pounds. You know, I've landed a couple that were, or got a couple up to shore that were 40, but you know, they turn and run and break the line or whatever. But you know, there again, that may be because I'm only using 30 pound line. So I'm not like you and out there catching them big old monsters. And I don't have that kind. I mean, we have that kind of water around here, but I don't have a boat. So you're not going to catch that kind of fish off of shore. I mean, if you do, then, you know, you got lucky because it does happen. But you know, they caught a 70 pound flathead in December or no, yeah, December out there, or maybe even January, out at Cheney Reservoir, which is only 20 miles from my house. They're in there, just you don't catch very many. I mean, the lake is only 35 feet deep, which I know that really don't matter, but it makes a difference. But I wanted to go fishing yesterday, and that wind was so bad. I wanted to go fishing the day before. The wind was bad, weather was bad, too many things to do, trying to take care of mom. I didn't like how that went in. My mom's sick, so get off of there. It was too far back. I didn't like how it was. Still a little far back, but like I said, these are for me, so I don't care. I'm just showing y'all some color. I'm just trying to get my box filled because I know that's coming. I've been tying for everybody else and not for myself, and now I'm caught up with everything. I'm going to try to tie up a couple extra boxes to have. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Jody, you're up there fishing for them big old giant. If I had a boat, I'd probably be targeting the same thing. But, you know, I would rather don't let this hurt nobody's feelings, but I'd much rather go catch crappie than 100-pound catfish. But I was, you know, I wasn't raised chasing catfish. I was raised chasing white bass and crappie and things like that. Did I double leak that? I don't think I did. And I'm just as happy catching a, you know, 10-inch bluegill versus a 100-pound channel cat. I mean, a blue cat. Did anybody caught a 100-pound channel cat? Oh my God, that'd be a record. Because I think they only get like 36 to 40 pounds or whatever, 45, something like that. Yeah, see, and if I had skipjacks around here, wait a minute, want to be outdoors, said something. Try to do a loop knot with that stinger. Yeah. Curtis, good morning. How are you doing? Appreciate you stopping in. Thumpaholic, you too. Yeah, just tying some jigs, and spring's coming. It's killing me. I know spring's coming. Did you get out of there? Hold on that one jig, and it wants to take up. That one jig wanted to grab them all. That's nuts. Talk about playing. You know, remember that game, Barrel of Monkeys, where they all got curved hands and you got to use one to pick up the other. That was what that was just like. Now this is going to be like the same almost as that other one we did, the white one that we did, but this one's going to be a pink head and a pink tail with that cotton candy body. Because I need a few pinks in my box. Morning, Curtis. I think I said morning already, but if I didn't, morning again. I got so much on my brain. My mom's sick, so Dad being in the nursing home, we gotta go out and make sure she's okay. I don't want to. I keep getting scared that she won't answer, and when she doesn't answer her phone, I freak out. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then you know what I did? I went and I forgot to change my thread out. I'm still using black. I should have swapped back to the white. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do me a couple different ones. Okay, so we got pink. So we're going to grab pink. I'm going to run that black again is what I'm going to do. Since I left with black thread, I'm going to run a black body on the pink. I can see that little pink stuff. I'm going to run 2 pieces of flash in there, get it locked down. Okay, so now we have a pink body. And we're going to do some more of that woolly booger stuff. This card was full a week ago.
Oh,
Boys are back. Gregory's back from the thrift store.
Silverton in Colorado, P-Chain. Did we go through Silverton?
Yeah.
Daddy.
Catfishing dog, what's up? Good morning. Welcome in, welcome in. $9.22 crappie. Every time I see your name, I just think about barbecue and crappie. I'm straight up. That's what I keep thinking. Been a long time since I threw some crappie on the grill. Okay, so I like swapped it up. So because I still had the wrong thread, but I wanted to do I'm gonna tie another one of them just because I wanted to. That was a mistake jig. I wasn't planning on putting that black in, but since I still have black on my bobbin, I threw it on there and it works. I like it. So we'll do another one. Remember, down and back, down and back. Do it a couple times and it'll help lock that thread in so it don't spin on you. You don't want rolling jigs. And like I said, to me, this is just easier, guys. So if you don't tie your jigs like this, one, put it in there, clip at a time. If I'd quit throwing my scissors down, it would make it easier. Okay. So, and then a piece of flash. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. Fields to Water, good morning. How are you? Seems like every time we get to going good and get close to shutting down, that's when everybody starts popping in. Takes a while for everybody to get up these days, I think. My show's pretty early in the morning. I like the time zone, though. Works for me. Gregory goes to the thrift store. Matt goes to the thrift store. We finally got the dog to start settling down. She's not much a puppy anymore. I mean, she weighs 70 pounds now, so. I'm going to sharpen these scissors as soon as I'm done. They're driving me nuts. Take them out to the shop. So there's another one. Now, I'll do what I was going to do to begin with, and I'll show you the contrast difference in just changing the body. Oh, you know what? I about did it again. Unwind that. Get off of there. You don't need to be on there. I need to get me a couple more bobbins. I had another bobbin, but I broke it. If I had another bobbin, it would save me 30 seconds of having to re-spool, but usually when I sit here and tie, I do a dozen or 2 dozen of the same color. Good morning, Mark. How are you? Oh, just tying jigs is what I'm doing today, trying to get my box filled back up. And see, I don't like none of that. Y'all would have a fit, but guess what? It's going in the trash. You have a fit. I'm not tying an ugly jig like that. It's just not worth my time. Not worth my effort. I got a whole sack of marabou. I mean, the sewn marabou. It's all still together. See, that looks better, but that's too much. So what are you guys doing? Cold front, some crappy this morning. Well, cold front came through here and it was 20 degrees this morning. I wasn't going to go out early. And it's thrift store day and live day, so Gregory goes to the thrift store and I do the live, so no real time to go. Ooh, that's some. I didn't get enough marabou out of that, but we're gonna tie a light jig. No, you know what? I changed my mind. I'm gonna do like what I said. I'm gonna tie that white on there. Or no, I said I was gonna do pink. See, I can't even think of what I was saying. I got too many different jigs in my head that I want to put in my box. I keep forgetting what I'm doing. Okay. All right. So back to what I was doing. Okay. So when I do my jigs, I tie in one feather at a time. If you guys hadn't been seeing this or paying attention today. And to me, it's just easier. You can get them all lined up. It locks them all in, makes them to where they don't go nowhere. And I can do it faster than trying to stack them in my hand. So then get you a pink. Trying to get back to the point where I can show you the difference in the contrast. So that had a little curve on the end of it. I don't know, this flash that I got this last time, this stuff is, I don't like it. It's too coarse. I mean, it throws off a good color, but it wants to stand up. Like, see, it's standing up off the jig. You froze your butt off? Yeah, last time I went, I did the same. I was shivering all day. I couldn't get rid of it. Good morning, Bullock. Okay, now I'll find my piece of cotton candy. Okay, and then also when it gets this short, you throw this little thing on there and it helps. Two. And like I said, I just do 3 wraps. I like short bodies. Ah, what'd you throw it down for, Dave? Okay, so here's the difference between the two. Big contrast difference. I can get him held up there. So same body, but different tail and head. I mean, like, that's a big difference. It looks like 2 complete separate jigs, even though half of it's the same. So
your last one, Dave.
Okay, dokie. Let's do a couple purples. You like that purple? Can you even see that purple? All right. Like I said, go back and forth a few times over that, and it'll hold it in place and it won't spin and your jig won't slide around. Once in a while, you might get one that does, but usually you don't. So I need a few more of these. I like purple. Just got to find one that looks good. I don't like that much feather. I want to go lighter. These, like I said, these are 1/32, so they're not very big. And you know that piece that we threw away earlier? We're going to steal a couple pieces out of that. Like right here. Get that to stand up the way I want it. And then right on the bottom of that thing, we're going to put that chartreuse right there. A little double color. And then where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, right here. Then we're just going to run a purple neck, purple body. Oh, there's a small piece right there. I thought I had a piece off already, and I did. Joe Buck, good morning. Now I am keeping up the live. I was going to like shut the live down for the next 6 weeks to do some crappie fishing, but you know what? This is to me this is fun. It gets me to where I can tie a bunch of jigs and show you guys what I got and you know what I do, and hopefully you guys can you know encourage you guys to go tie some jigs, get some stuff in your own box. Now that was I still did this jig with a white thread, but the way I pull my thread down in there, you can't see that one. That purple is light enough. So, but see, check that one out. See, that's got a little bit of chartreuse. Purple and chartreuse is like a hot color in the spawn. So, but I think this is where we're going to leave it for today, guys. We are at about 2 minutes before 9:30. I really got to go to the bathroom. I don't mean to be that way, but I do. I drank too much coffee. I'm like on my 6th cup of coffee this morning. I've been up since 5:30. Oh, can you come up, Mark? Well, yeah. I see. Here, let me. There will be a few more minutes. Um, I gotta remember how to do this, Mark. Oh, I can't remember what it is. Yeah, there it is. Okay, Mark. There's a link. You jump up here in the basement, and I'll throw you up there for a minute. Well, if Mark's going to come up here for a little bit and tie another jig or two. All right.
What's going on, Dave?
Oh, I gotta go pee now.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I was just gonna
No, you're
come up
fine.
and chat because I can't type. My fingers are like frozen solid.
No, you're all good, bud.
Don't let me hold you. If you gotta go, gotta go. I was just
No,
gonna ask
no,
you,
no, no, no,
where
no.
can I find like some purple and chartreuse bucktail? Because I want to make some walleye flies.
Purple and chartreuse bucktail.
Yeah,
Well, you can't find any.
I haven't really looked. I just figured I'd come up and shoot the breeze with you.
So you mean like this one?
Something
And
like
this
that.
one?
Are those synthetic or is that real?
Those are real.
And who makes those?
These are made by Wapsi. These are Wapsies.
I'll check eBay because I got
these are like $6 a tail.
I only need a couple. It's just tying the little tail on number 2 Aberdeen hooks. So.
Oh yeah.
And then do like
you doing it for skipjack or?
No. For I'm not even going to use jig heads. What you do is for walleye jigs is you do a dropper rig. So you use a 3-way swivel. You tie like a drop shot weight on the bottom one, and then you just put 2 flies behind it about 2-3 feet back, and you just fish it in current, and that's it. And
so you just using them basically like a stinger almost. Just
pretty much.
You're not running it behind a live bait. You're just running it itself, or a fly on a weight, I guess.
Just something like that. Get it on the bottom because I'm hopefully as soon as I get my boat back together, I got to paint the riser that I built for my live scope pole, and I'm gonna go up to the Wisconsin River and try and get on some of them walleye. They're getting them up there. So,
oh, right on. Yeah, our walleye here. Normally they're in the river by now, but the problem is our water's so low. There's just no room for them in the river. I mean, the water's literally 4 inches deep.
Yeah, we got plenty of water. So hopefully next week I'll get out on some local water looking for some crappie. And then because I want to make sure everything works. That'll be the first time I take the boat out. I'm not going up on the big, the Wisconsin River when it's, busting with
so did
water.
you get your new boat?
No, I didn't. I'm going to wait. Interest rates are crazy, man. There's no way.
I know.
This boat's not going to be, I've been saving for a long freaking time and planning this for a long time. So I'm going to get like my last boat. So I'm not paying, an extra $200-300 a month in interest because, even with good credit, they want 10% for a used boat.
Oh, I know. We went and looked at a couple just because I was thinking about getting a new boat. I haven't had a boat in 10 years, but I was thinking about going to get something that has a flat enough bottom in it, like a Sea Arc or something like that. And then I got looking into the Sea Arcs and found out them things ride so rough, there ain't no way I'm doing it.
Yeah, any flat bottom. If you're going to be on anything with any sort of wave or chop, them things slap. If you got a lot of like pleasure boat traffic, when you're moving from spot to spot, at speed, they're gonna slap pretty hard. But the good thing about flat bottoms is they're pretty stable once you're stopped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought you wanted like a pontoon boat to help you with your chair.
I do want a pontoon boat, but my problem is I don't want a big pontoon boat. I want something that I like. They got these new ones that have 2 pontoons on each side.
I haven't seen them.
There's 2 on this side and 2 on this side, but their pontoons are only like 12. So
what's the reason for that? Is it added stability or?
Yeah. It's like 6 foot wide, and 12 foot long or 14 foot long is what these are, and those are like the big ones. A lot of them are only like 5 foot wide and 10 foot long or 12 foot long because they're like little 2-person bass boats, but they make a 4-seater version. Okay, and that's the one that I'm looking at, and they're only like $10,000.
You can
probably, it's all aluminum, and they're just a small pontoon. My problem is with the big pontoon is when they're parked, that thing's taller than I am because of being in the wheelchair. I can't reach up to put things on the deck, stuff like that. I need a pontoon that's like really low to the ground when it's on a trailer.
I get what you're saying. I was going to say, Luke from Catfish and Carp, he's got that 16-footer he used forever. I think he still has it he's only got a 9.9 horsepower Yamaha in there, and that gets him where he wants to go.
Yeah.
And it's just small enough, and I imagine it's pretty stable, but you can pick them up for cheap when you find them. So,
well, here's the thing is where I live at, our longest lake is like 4 miles, maybe, in my area from the dam to the mouth of the river.
Gotcha.
Even with a 9 or even with like a 15 to 20 horse, which is probably where I mean, a 25 horse would be fine for even a 16-foot pontoon boat. Because in my opinion, I don't need to go more than 6 miles an hour anyway. No. Because most of the time I'm going to launch where I'm going to fish. I mean, on my local lake, Cheney, there's like 5 boat ramps all the way around the thing. And with a smaller boat, no problem. But a big giant pontoon boat, you're stuck at like the 2 main areas, which still, if you want to go to the hot footed all the way to the north end, you're still, it's only a 10 or 15-minute boat ride, which is nothing compared to what some of you guys do up north. Some of you guys up north,
I don't even
just to get your spot.
I don't even do that. The longest ride I got is from dam to dam here on the river, and that's 18 miles. But, I seldom do it.
Yeah.
I really don't have to. Where I launch like halfway between that span, so I go one way or the other. And literally some of the best fishing's probably, I don't know, within a mile of the boat ramp.
Okay.
A pre-spawn when I'm fishing for flathead on the river, I got to go a little further. That's like maybe a 6-mile trek, but
yeah,
that's not even that bad.
Want something that, for one thing, I found there's a boat place over in Wichita, and right now they have a boat, pontoon boat that they just stripped all the seats off. They were just fixing to order seats and stuff like that. And I was like, well, give me a quote. And she's like, okay, well, I'll get back with you. Well, it's been 3 days now, so apparently they don't want to sell. So
Don is saying get a scissor trailer.
Money.
Don is saying get a scissor trailer so it's lower.
Yeah.
Problem is your budget. I mean, if you got a big budget, you can get anything done. But the problem is nobody really has a big budget.
No, and my budget is fairly light. That's why I was inquiring about the one that they ripped all the seats off of. I'm like, if that's cheap enough, it might be doable.
Well, you're a pretty handy dude. If you find something that's just got, a deck and a set of pontoons with a motor, you could always, customize it.
That's what I actually want, because if I buy a pontoon that has seats on it, the seats are getting ripped off. Oh, hey, Viking, I've got him in the dang. All right, Viking. How long you been in the basement? I wasn't paying attention.
Hey, he's got a pee, Zach. Hey, I need to take these guys to go get their nails clipped. I just wanted to come in and say hello.
All right.
How's the weather up there?
Cold. It's 28 degrees. I just froze my butt off crappie fishing this morning.
Well, I'm heading your way.
Where are you at?
We're coming through Tennessee right now.
You got a ways yet to go. And you're going to Tinley. Tinley's good. If you guys are going to stop for deep dish, like you said, go to Lou Malnati's. I believe there's one in Tinley.
That's what they're telling us. That's what somebody had told us.
I think it was, I told you in the chat, I don't know if you caught that or not, but that's pretty much, unless you're going to go downtown and eat at Pizzeria Uno, I don't recommend going downtown. It's a pain in the butt, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Or if you want to sightsee, take a train or an Uber down there, but you're still a ways away. You're going to be in one of the affluent suburbs of Chicago, so you guys will be safe, and they'll have all sorts of restaurants in Tinley. So
yeah.
So
I'm excited. It's my first trip to Chicago. This show is a very important show, and the only way to get into this one is to go up there.
That's what you were saying.
And so this could be a 20,000 profit show for a weekend.
Nice. My buddy sells pythons, the purple and yellow ones. He makes a buttload of money selling them.
There's a lot of money.
He's been doing it for a long time. He's been doing it for a long time. His breeder is like 18 feet long. It's huge. Huge. He's also got like 125 pound tortoise too.
We've been breeding geckos for going on 10 years, so
nice.
It's about time I went up here and actually tried to get into the show.
Hey, Miss Chrissy Brown. All right, hey, how you doing, man? Hey, I really got to run. I got 5 minutes to get out of the house so I can make this appointment.
Yeah.
And I got to get these knuckleheads in their harnesses. That's never easy.
I got to get my dog a new harness, but I can't find one that's built for a Doberman. She's got a.
For what?
I can't find a harness built for a Doberman. She's got a 3-inch chest, but she only has a 15-inch waist.
Yeah.
So.
All right, fellas. Dave, thanks for letting me come up, but my hands
Oh
are
yeah,
starting
no
to-
worries.
I wish they were warm.
Later, Mark.
All right, we'll see you later. Have fun, Zach.
Get you some of them hot things to put in your pocket.
If I go back out today, I'm gonna pick some up. I bought a whole. I literally got like 40 of them sitting not 10 feet away from me because I buy them every year in the spring when they're on sale at Walmart for $5 a big bag of them. So,
Right on.
all right, fellas, we'll talk to you later. Thanks again, Dave.
Bye, Mark. You have a good day. Hey, Viking. So, are you on your way to the reptile show? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Oh, right on. So, what are you
I just
taking?
got bored. I was like, no, this show, I'm just going up there to hang out with everybody. I'm literally driving 8 hours and 12 minutes to hang out.
I'm driving.
Okay, Amanda's driving. She corrected me.
Hey, did she take your billfold and lock it up?
Yeah, pretty much. We're not bringing any money with us. That way I don't blow it all.
I was gonna say with you, it'd be awful tempting, wouldn't it?
I have been known to walk up to a reptile table and drop $5,000 real quick.
Yeah. Well, you guys be safe on your trip up there and don't get too much indigestion from eating pizza.
I'm gonna try not to.
Yeah,
Are you about to shut it down?
Huh? Yeah, I gotta
Are you
shut
about
it down.
to shut it down?
Yeah, I gotta pee, and I got a bunch of stuff. I gotta still go to run the Wichita and stuff. So I usually only stay up until about 9:30.
Okay, well, I figured I'd pop in and say hi while I was bored going down the road. So
Well, I'm sorry.
you're good. You're good.
Yeah, somebody will get a live going here before too long, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. But all right, buddy. Get your business taken care of.
Yep, you take care, bud, and have a safe trip, and tell your family hi from us.
Will do. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Hey, everybody, I appreciate y'all coming in. I appreciate y'all hanging out. We just kind of BSing there for a little bit. Sorry we wasn't tying much jigs, but it's fun sometimes to just hang out. You guys have a blessed day. Don R., I don't think I said hi to you, but I'm sorry if I didn't. Chrissy, it's good to see you in here. I hope you and Ernie are doing well. Praying for all those that need it. I don't know who needs it, but God does. So that's all that needs to be said about that one. Y'all have a blessed week. Go do something. Go tie something. Go catch something. Go fry something. Go just get out and actually do something. So, hey, y'all have a great day. Remember, like and subscribe. And now, for everybody in here, I greatly appreciate y'all. Bye.